What's up, guys? Zuri here, back for another video where we are talking about mindset, personal development, growth, and getting into an alignment and a powerful life experience. So today I want to talk about killing whatever kills your vibe. Your vibe is your frequency. I don't know if you guys are familiar with David Hawkins. David Hawkins has a book called Letting Go, and there is an energetic scale ranging from shame and guilt all the way up to love and enlightenment, which pretty much shows what frequency you vibe at. You ever meet somebody where you come into touch with them and you're like, wow, there's something different about this person. It's not the way they look. It's not the words that they say. It's like their overall energy and how they show up. Chances are they're vibrating at a higher frequency. Alternatively, you meet somebody and you feel tired after. You know, when you hang out with them, you're just like, something was a little bit off-putting about that person. Doesn't say anything about them other than the fact that they're probably dealing with things, heavier emotions, and a lower frequency. Now, frequency is something that came into my awareness over the last couple of years. You know, there's all these spiritual teachers, all these, gurus talking about it. But at the end of the day, just shows like where you're at. It's almost like a battery level of being a human being. And my goal is to increase my frequency as high as possible and those around me. And the way that I feel you can do that the easiest is, one, doing things that scare you. Because if you're doing things and you're pushing that edge for your life, that's going to bring a lot more excitement, and it's going to take you out of lower vibrations like resentment, guilt, anger, shame. By doing the things that scare you, that obviously I'm not talking about going cliff jumping or jumping out of a plane with no parachute. I'm talking about doing the things that scare you, whether that's approaching the girl at the grocery store that you think is cute, whether that's, in this case for me, creating content. This is an edge for me, something that's new, unfamiliar, want to get better at it. Whether it is quitting the job to go travel, if you really wanted to do that. Doing those things that are a little bit out of the norm will increase your frequency. And when I am at a higher frequency or higher energetic vibration, not only does my life improve, I feel like the vibration of those around me improves as well. And not only that, there's a ripple effect. When I increase my vibration, I'm intentional about that. Other people get inspired, right? It's hard not to. You ever meet somebody and if you're ever at a keynote speaking event and you see some speaker on stage and they move you, that's when they are in their flow. They are in their energetic state. They are in their element, and it touches people. Like, there's a powerful frequency associated with the words that they emit, the energy that they emit. It touches people. And there's something like that for you where you have a gift. And when you realize that gift, the world becomes your oyster. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist. I have it right behind me on the shelf here. And The Alchemist, the boy Santiago, he has to take some risks. He has this dream that he wants to realize. And he meets this king, this wise king on the way. And, the actual alchemist himself. And he really gets some really profound advice from these people. And what these teachers start telling him is, when you live in a purpose, when you follow your dream, when you take that first step, all of a sudden the universe conspires to help you. You start getting more lucky. You start winning more without feeling like you have to try so hard to win. You start meeting people that come into your life for a reason. They introduce you to a person, a spouse, a partner, a business partner, an opportunity. And when you do that, it's like you feel like life becomes an adventure instead of the mundane. I took this Joe Dispenza course, and one of the things he says is like the average person, they can pretty much dictate their whole reality. You wake up, you go to the same job every day, you take the same exact commute every day, you stop at the same stoplights, you pick up the same coffee, you go do the same tasks on your computer for 8 days, you do your same tasks doing construction the entire time. And it's like you do that 5 days a week. Everything in your life becomes so predictable. So what happens when you start changing your inner frequency? What happens when you start changing your mind? What happens when you start changing the trajectory of your life? Well, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, and you actually get serious about wanting to achieve that, you're going to show up differently, right? You're going to take different actions. And when you take different actions, what does that bring you? Different results. When you get different results, you get more information to make new decisions. And so at the end of the day, it's about making that first step, taking that first leap towards what it is that you want. It's about not succumbing to the predictable. It's about not succumbing to the norm, what the limitations have been imposed to you that really are your limitations, your self-limiting beliefs. Because once you start challenging the status quo, once you start challenging the status quo for yourself and how you're to live your life, everything else changes. You start changing your reality. You start increasing your vibration. And what's going to happen is you're naturally either going to bring people up or you're going to intimidate people that aren't willing to take that journey yet. And both options are okay because that's their journey, it's not yours. So raising your vibration is going to have much more of a ripple effect than you think. Not only is it going to change the trajectory of your life, you don't know how many people you're going to ultimately impact on the way. And Tony Robbins says this a lot, and he says, your ability to handle uncertainty is going to pretty much determine your success. And similar to what the Joe Dispenza example I was giving earlier is, if you have too much certainty, life gets really boring, life gets stale. Right? If you can predict what's going to happen every single day, think about living in a prison. You know, they have the same wake-up time, they have the same bedtime, you're being told what to do constantly. You're really just in this matrix, right? But what happens is uncertainty is the spice of life. Stepping into the unknown, taking those leaps of faith, reaching out to these people. When you do that, you open up a whole new trajectory of possibility because you can have your goal. And if you're so rigid in your goal, you say, hey, I'm going to get here. These are the exact steps I'm going to do that. You can succeed. You can. But that's limited because God has a much bigger plan for you than you do. And your limited mindset as a human, you can plan this out or you can give this up. You can have faith that, hey, this is my goal. This is my plan. I'm open to steering the ship a little bit. If a certain person comes in and introduces me to an opportunity, being flexible in that goal and knowing that when that opportunity arises, it's a gift from the universe that you can actually act on to get closer to that. And the reason that's important is when you increase your frequency, you start attracting more good than bad. I've noticed this from personal experience. When I had a very low frequency, I was suffering depression, anxiety, all these mental things and all these mental battles as a teenager. My vibe was low. I wasn't unpopular in high school, but I acted out a lot. I had this class clown behavior, and I still like leaning into the class clown. It just comes from a better place. But I noticed that I wasn't happy with myself. And I know other people could feel that because my energy was probably off. I tried masking a higher frequency instead of actually living it. And all in that to say is when you start elevating your frequency, more good things are going to happen. You know, I used to have this victim mindset where if I believe I'm a victim, life's going to present me with opportunities showing me why I am a victim. And that's going to be a perpetuating circle. But as soon as I decided at a younger age, hey, I'm going to be successful. Hey, I'm going to start taking more risks. Hey, I'm going to start being that guy that does these things. All of a sudden, life started presenting me with opportunities to become that person. So God's master plan, which has infinite possibilities, is way, way more stronger than what you think your vision is and what your dream is. But if you have your dream and it's actually in alignment and it's what is good for you, not coming from a place of scarcity, traumas, or whatever it is from not a good place, when it comes from a good place, I believe that God will give that to you and it is yours. But you have to be willing to have faith. You have to be willing to take that first step. And when you start taking those steps, that's when your life doesn't become predictable anymore. That's where things become more fun. That's where life becomes more of an adventure. And feeling like that, there's no better feeling. At the end of the day, I feel like that's what everybody wants. You know, you have different personality types, people who are super risk adverse, but they still need a little uncertainty. Otherwise, their life's going to be super, super boring. I don't want to live a super boring life. I know you probably don't want to watch us live a super boring life if you're watching this video. And so what are you going to do to do that? What steps are you going to take? What risks can you take? What is the thing that scares you the most? Start acting on that. There's so many examples. I'll get into that in another video. But for now, focus on your vibration. Start meditating if you're not already. Start reading books that feel good. Literally any information that you feel good after. And I'm talking about real good, like not fake dopamine good, watching a funny video on Instagram Reels. Like I'm talking about, watching a motivational video, watching a motivational movie, listen to a podcast that like, you just like, damn, I feel like I can take on the world right now. The more you can harness that energy, the more you can step into that state, the more attraction of good things you're going to start to manifest. That's all I got for you guys today. Zuri Vankovich here, out.